standing for Jesus, standing in the gap for family and friends, standing in the gap, one love for all, so we all can make it in. Standing in the gap, standing for Jesus, standing in the gap for family and friends, standing in the gap, one love for all, so we all can make it in. Studying to show ourselves approved, rightly dividing the word of truth, increasing our faith to envision our freedom, so we all can glorify our God.
Now, we have dedicated a certain part of our ministry to what we call the Gap News. And the reason for that is that Jesus gave us the Great Commission. And that's to spread that gospel to all the ends of the earth. And in order to do that, he's not asking you to spread it back in AD when he was born, or BC when David and Solomon were. He's asking you to do it today, right now. So how do you do it today and right now if you don't know what's going on today and right now? So that's why we've dedicated a portion of our ministry to what we call the Gap News. And the Gap News is keeping you up on the current events. And Marble is taking over this part of it. And I leave it to her. I don't even know what she's going to present to you, but it's always good because there's always good stuff out there. Marble?
All right, y'all. So we were in Panama last week, and while we were gone for 1 week, and while we left for 1 week, Lord have mercy, all the things that happened. I was like, you can't leave for a minute and something is going on. You can't turn like he said, I'm watching while I pray. You can't close your eyes for 1 minute. Something is going to come up. So I got back home and I was like, well, this happened and this happened. And then Thursday and Friday, all kind of hell broke loose at the Department of Justice. And I said, but here's one that I want to highlight. I'm calling it Don't Mess With Zone 15.
Still high in Lincoln Heights after that apparent neo-Nazi demonstration in a historically black village that took place last Friday. Residents there don't believe the location of the neo-Nazi display was a coincidence.
As WCPO 9 News reporter Jay Shakur explains, residents believe it was a hateful display targeting their history.
At exit 13, right off of I-75, is a microcosm of the Black American experience. Surrounded by Woodlawn, Lockland, and Evendale sits Lincoln Heights.
This is my grandmother, Mrs. Lewis Perry, who was one of the first residents here in Lincoln Heights.
Author Carolyn Smith's roots run deep in the predominantly black village.
We've done a lot of things here.
It's the first self-governing African-American community north of the Mason-Dixon line. A community Smith says was built on hard work, faith, and self-sufficiency.
You knew who you were. You knew you just fought for what you wanted. And that's what Lincoln Heights was all about. You fight for what you want.
Residents first began that fight in the late 1930s when they sought to be legally incorporated. But they were immediately met with opposition.
It was federal forces, it was state forces, and also the Hamilton County Commissioners and all that.
Finally, in 1947, Hamilton County allowed the village to incorporate, but with only 10% of the original proposed land area. This status gave these black residents the ability to collect tax revenue to support the development and increase the quality of basic public services.
This was part of the first fire department.
And for some, after the recent neo-Nazi demonstration, the struggles for quality public services are once again coming into question.
What's your message to this family of Lincoln Heights after this passed?
After this passed, I appreciate those that came out. Lincoln Heights is, like I said, a family-oriented community that'll help anybody, that loves anybody, but you're not going to come in here and disrespect us. That's a no-no.
In Lincoln Heights, Jay Shakur, WCPO 9 News.
Welcome to Racist of the Week. This is where we expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And of course, if you have any nominees, you can throw them in the comments or you can email me at admin@reesewaters.com. Today's nominee, these cornballs in Ohio.
They got these punk ass Nazis out here, y'all.
They lost their goddamn mind.
They want to die today. They done came to the wrong hood with that shit.
Hey, you feel me? Burn that bitch. Burn that bitch burn. Let that bitch burn. What I'm talking about?
I'm out.
Still nigga hate shit's off 15 shit. Perfect.
Yeah, my city about that shit for real. Them boys at the wrong ones, they try to go to zone 15 with that shit. Y'all better learn y'all history on Cincinnati. That's a city of resistance. Go play with somebody else. You about to start seeing this more and more, so y'all better stock up and get y'all ammo up. It's about to get crazy.
Y'all should have knew better than that. The Bengals season been over for months. These people full of free time and frustration.
People from the historically black Lincoln Heights community were quick to tell a group of people waving swastika flags on that overpass over I-75 that they are not welcome here.
That's the reporter? Did he get hit with a stray?
In fact, that black blob on the concrete right over there is the charred remnants of one of those flags burned to a crisp. Waving swastika flags, some armed with rifles. Eric Ruffin took this video of a group of apparent Nazis in Lincoln Heights where he says they called him the N-word.
Officially letting you know there is racism in America. This is absolutely ridiculous that I got to deal with this.
Other videos show counter-protesters breaking through a police line to confront them. The group that eventually grew to more than 100 took a swastika emblazoned flag and set it aflame, leaving just this blob. Charlene Evans helped set it on fire.
Are they spitting? They spitting on the charred blob that used to be the flag.
In this neighborhood, we do stand for something. This here turf is golden soil, and it won't be tarnished with things like that.
One man arranged bullets to spell out LH on the flag, a message not to return to Lincoln Heights.
My man spelled out LH on the charred remains that used to be your flag. I ain't messing with them. I ain't messing with them at all. Nah. When the revolution come, send in Lincoln Heights. Yeah, send in Lincoln Heights. I'll be right behind them. Yeah, I'll be right behind Lincoln Heights when the revolution come. I will follow the LH.
To lower the temperature,
We need you, Lord, now to come in the midst of it.
Lincoln Heights Baptist Church began a spontaneous prayer.
It's all about faith. We are doing the work of God.
Now, I want to shout out to those ministers who led the prayer around the charred remains of the flag. Now, I do have one question. Was the LH in bullets there before the prayer, or he came and put that in after?
Anger went beyond the white supremacist display to the police who kept the group separate.
Nobody's coming to save us. They allowing the Nazis in.
In a statement, the Evendale Police Department says that while the protest was very offensive, it was not illegal. Look, the Sheriff's Department responding in a statement of their own that they responded to de-escalate the situation and make sure that no one was hurt. Looking forward, Pastor Julian Cook has a message.
There are obviously people who want to spread hate right now. To those people, what is your message?
You will not win. You will not win. You may try, but we have a history of being able to push past these things, as difficult as they may be. You will not win.
And on that note, I want to say how heartened I felt at seeing all of those brothers with their arms interlocking, and how that has brought this community together. And yes, I am indeed shocked that this was not only lawful, but in that woman's words, allowed. Shocked.
There has been a long list of statements and addresses from politicians, the NAACP, and more. For all of that, head over to WCPO.com. In Lincoln Heights, I'm Sean Delancey, WCPO 9 News.
The Jewish Federation of Cincinnati also condemned the display of what they called Nazi symbols today, calling them reprehensible.
We are not going to be intimidated. We are going to be proud to be Jewish. And our response to hate is really to reaffirm our commitment to strengthening community bonds.
You just heard from the CEO of the Jewish Federation of Cincinnati reacting to not only the hateful display, but also the nearby residents of Evendale and Lincoln Heights who showed up to protest the need.
When we showed up, there was a Jeep that was smashed to bits right about here in the parking lot, and we're told that that was because there was a lot of anger over what they saw on the bridge just over there. They saw hatred and they saw racism, and they say that there was a lot of hurt over what they saw here.
Tried to elevate myself and hold myself to a level of responsibility and accountability and charity and business ownership that I could be proud of. And I got to stop at a stop sign and somebody called me the N-word.
Eric Ruffin stared down a group of people holding Nazi flags and guns just a few hundred feet from his business. Anyone who drove along I-75 near Evendale Friday afternoon saw the same thing.
Officially letting you know there is racism in America.
Oh, they are officially letting us know. Whether it was letting somebody who advocated for eugenics and wanted to normalize Indian hate back into Doge, whether it was having somebody in the State Department who said we need competent white men. Oh yeah, they are absolutely letting us know that hate is here in America. And by the way, that dude look kind of familiar. Ain't I seen him somewhere before?
What's up, yeah, we see your gun, bitch. You see that gun? Fight the power. You're going to jail, bitch. Fight the power. Fucking fight the power. Fucking you fucking
Now that's how you deal with hate right there. That is how you deal with hate right there. They say success is the best revenge. What they didn't tell you was the soundtrack to success. It's fight the power.
Residents of nearby Lincoln Heights soon arrived to protest the Nazi demonstration.
This is something that we all need to take a stand for. We need them to know this is not the 1960s. This is 2025. We are not playing at this time around.
We're told the people on the bridge came and went in a U-Haul, leaving shortly after locals arrived. Evendale police released a statement that the demonstration, while offensive, was legal. Protesters took issue with that response.
You're allowed to have a protest, but where's your permit? Where's your permission? And then inciting hate, calling people niggas. That's not right.
That's right. We asking for your paperwork. Yeah, we asking for your paperwork. We did the same thing with the Proud Boys. And now they owned by Metropolitan AME. We want to see your paperwork. That's what we doing in 2025. Oh yeah. The face of Karen has changed.
When Fox 19 arrived, this car had its windows smashed and its tires slashed. Protesters stated that they believed it belonged to one of the men with the Nazi flags.
That's what hate is. That's what hate gets you.
Protesters say they were shocked and disgusted by what they saw on that overpass, but their gathering was about standing together.
This is unity. This is all you. Nobody's here to fight. Nobody's here to cause any trouble. Nobody's here to do any of that. But what we're not going to do is have hatred.
This love, like this united, like we united, like.
I hope that this can change, but you have to realize that this is a big issue.
Protesters say they saw hate and they stood their ground. They say they want to know if the masked people on that bridge will simply retreat without repercussions.
What's going to happen next? That's the question. What happens next?
That is a great question. What happens next? Because we have seen this before. To the people of Cincinnati, for using something disgusting to come together as a community.
They jumped into a U-Haul, man. We pushed up on the bridge, grabbed the flag, and as the people here, we burnt the flag right over there.
Howard was coming home from school and says he couldn't believe what he was seeing. He's feeling intimidated.
And I'm like, wow, we still doing that in 2025? We just got to have some meetings about it because I'm fearing for my life. I walk outside all the time, and now I got to be in fear just in case anything could happen now.
Other local leaders heard the same message.
This is a historic
community as well. And these were people who had marched. Some of them had been with King and had been in that movement, and now they're seniors, and they're like, we can't believe that we're back at this point.
Lincoln Heights Village Council member Durance Daniels says this protest will be top of mind at the next council meeting.
Proud in our residents for, showing up, you saying that, hey, we're not going to allow anybody to come in and bully us in any type of way, especially in this moment.
He also wants to talk to the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office and Evendale Police for not breaking up the neo-Nazis protest sooner. Evendale Police say although it was an ugly display, it wasn't unlawful and no arrests were made. Reese says the only way to stop it is to take a stand against it.
This is not going to be the place where you're going to set up shop here. And I think we've got enough people that are willing to say, hey, I'm going to speak out, and I'm not going to let this happen on our watch.
That's right. This brought out everybody, all the way from the elders who had marched with King, all the way to Hood News 75.
What is going on? It is Hood News 75, and a hate group came to Lincoln Heights in Cincinnati, Ohio, because they thought it was acceptable to come here and start some BS and leave.
Yeah, and they got their flag. Yeah. And they got their flag. Talk nice to us. You understand?
I love my people. I love my people. And I'm proud of y'all. But y'all be safe out there. They want to see us act out. They want to see us act out. They're looking for a reason for us to act out. Just be safe out there. My thing is, why would y'all go out there to Cincinnati, Ohio, Lincoln Heights? Me personally, any place that's got heights in it, I know it's hood and in the ghetto.
I know that incident with the Nazis in Cincinnati where, the black people rallied up and actually scared them off and burned their flag. That shit was awesome, by the way. But I was on Twitter and I saw the Nazi end of the recording, like on the Nazi side. And it was a perfect example of how privilege fades, right? They were so comfortable calling them slurs from afar because they're thinking the police is not going to let them touch them. And some of them are going, oh, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. Fuck all of them. Until they kept getting closer. Until they eventually scared them off, until they took their flag and started burning their flag. No fight in sight. I ain't see a single fight in any of the videos yet, but clearly they got close enough to where they took the flag. That was beautiful. We need more of that. We need more of that. Fuck these Nazis, bro.
People was talking about what happened in Cincinnati, Ohio. There was about 13 people dressed in all black with rifles waving swastikas and doing what they do. Here's the thing. They were very strategic in where they went. They went to a place called Lincoln Heights, and that's in Cincinnati, Ohio. And here's the thing. They was waving around a banner, a Yahtzee banner. Now, if you don't know that the area that they were in is a historically black village. And let me give y'all some history on it. So basically, it was founded like in the 1920s as a suburb for black and brown owners. And it was the first African-American-led self-governing community. And it was north of the Mason-Dixon line. This is exactly where these people with the flags and all of that started doing their yaya. To this day, it remains 95% of African-Americans. Here's the thing. The people in our community was like, wait, what? The people in our community was not having it. So they proceeds to go find a truck that they believe belonged to one of the 13 people that were dressed in all black showing out. And they went to the Jeep, slashed the tires, broke the windows, was burning the flag. I mean, they was like, what's up? People in the community was like, we standing up. Y'all not finna come over here with that. This is not the generation. Ooh! And this is what people have been talking about. This is the spirit. This is the spirit of a certain individual who every time you pop your head up and you decide to be a biggie wig, a head honcho, elect over the country, all of a sudden we start hearing and seeing mess like this pop off. It makes you wonder. Say this. Y'all not gonna like what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Just so y'all know, get ready. because this is already starting. There is a spirit in the land. The Bible says in the last days, one of the actual seals, one of the horse comes on its rider. I'm paraphrasing the scripture, by the way. And one of them symbolizes taking peace from the earth. But y'all not trying to hear that though. There is a sense of chaos that is trying to sit in this country, a specific spirit of chaos, chaotic foolery. And even though that happened in Cincinnati, Ohio, I believe if that happens in the wrong area, in the wrong place, it's going to go left, because it is the spirit that has been unleashed. It's part of that witchcraft spirit that I've been telling y'all about, manipulation, to implement certain demonic things on a lot of different people. That's all I can say. People don't realize is hatred for anybody is a spirit. It dwells in the spirit of anger. It dwells in so many other spirits that's wrapped into that. People just don't hate just because they're mean. It's invoked by a demonic entity, a demonic spirit.
Well, don't mess with Zone 15. I have to be very fully transparent. My people are from Zone 15. We started out in Lincoln Heights. Miss Lois Perry, my uncle, married her daughter. So my cousins are Perrys. And then we saw the Ruffins. All of these people are still in the community, and they're still leading in the community. But you don't come up in Lincoln Heights doing some mess like that. What do y'all think?
Well, I would think that these Yahtzees, Nazis, whatever
she said
they call
Yahtzee. I like you. She said the Yahtzees.
should have done a little preparation work before they got to where they were, because I know I'm not from Lincoln Heights. And I'll tell you, as we were growing up, we were very careful when we went into Lincoln Heights.
Oh, yes.
And matter of fact, most time we stayed away from Lincoln Heights because Lincoln Heights don't play.
No. No.
They don't play. And the Yahtzees didn't know that.
Well, you know what I think what they thought was, here, let's go to a black neighborhood. We know it's black. Let's go over here and start some mess. And like the one young man said, we know the police not going to let them get us. Mm-hmm. Let's go over here and show out over here. But no, you don't mess with Zone 15, honey.
I'm not I don't advocate violence or whatever, but people can't just sit back all the time and let stuff happen. And Lincoln Heights, man, they don't know.
I want to share something with you all. One of my Facebook friends, I made a comment. I said, we've got to take care of these Nazis. And his comment was, oh, don't worry about the Nazis. They're just blowing a lot of smoke, and they're not really anything, and they're not really have any power and whatnot. And my response to him was, that's what the people in the 1930s thought. And how did that work out for them? And then my other friend, her mother grew up in Eastern Europe, and they had to flee. They fled. She survived. They fled to Australia. But she is so nervous. She's so distraught to see people are saying, oh, Nazi, 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 Yahtzee. We're not worried about that. Honey, we better get on our P's and Q's about it.
We were, as Marvel indicated, we were down in Panama, and I hadn't heard about this incident. My daughter, Justin, called me, and she was I'm so proud of Cincinnati and the way they reacted to that.
Oh,
and,
yes.
And once she filled me in on it, of course, I started, trying to find out what happened. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm proud that they didn't just stand there and let that happen.
Oh, it wouldn't have, not in Zone 15, baby. Oh, and I do need to give a disclaimer. I should have told y'all beforehand that it might be some kind of dicey language in there. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is that, make no doubt about it, that the leadership from the top is what is inspiring this type of thing. Some people wondering, okay, well, um, we're still waiting on the Antichrist, right? We're still waiting on, and I mean, is it Trump? Is it Putin? Is it so and so or somebody we don't know yet? And all that kind of stuff. So they're not here yet. Don't worry about it. But the Bible has told us, and Jesus told us, that the spirit of the Antichrist is already here.
Yes. And that's why I included what that young lady said. Hatred is demonic. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. It's demonic. And we talk about it every week. We're in a war. This is a war, a spiritual war. And hatred is one of the big things that the devil uses to create chaos, just like she said.
And as we all, as Mark was indicating, and I say every week, Ephesians 6:12, it's a 24/7 war. Mm-hmm. You don't know when the attack is coming. Lincoln Heights didn't know it, but it seemed like, I don't know if they already had an agreement among the community that when these Yahtzees come around, everybody come out of the house and let's run them up out of here.
Run them on up out of here. Oh yes.
All right.
Okay. Well, nobody had any comments from the online. If you decide to put something in later, I'll cover it. But like I say, don't mess with Zone 15.